Welcome to TheoTrade. Don Kaufman here, April 8th, 2026. Minutes to go to the cash close here on this Wednesday afternoon with the S&Ps exploding back onto the scene, up some 2.4%. Before I go into any detail whatsoever here on this TheoTrade evening video, I want to dig immediately into one aspect, and that is not necessarily that we're up 2.4%. Obviously, oil crushed down. Let's not look at the obvious. Let's actually jump forward, look directly at the VVIX, and that's actually where I want to start this evening's video. The VVIX, what is it? It's the volatility of the VIX itself. And the reason I'm actually bringing it up, okay, so you're looking at a, the VIX being like a derivative of a derivative. This is a derivative of a derivative of a derivative. It's literally the volatility, okay, of the VIX. What does it say? Like 111, 112. What does that mean? It means that professional traders, they're not giving up their hedges just yet. I found this interesting because you see this rip and rally, and of course, everybody looks over at VIX and you're like, oh, VIX is getting crushed. I agree. But one of the things that's really interesting with the VIX getting crushed, I was looking under today's option statistics here on Thinkorswim. The VIX really traded a lot today. So it traded, almost 1.6 million contracts, which if you guys know the VIX, this is huge size in VIX options, absolutely huge. And what surprised me the most out of this entire trading session, you're like, oh, yeah, the market's up like 2.4%. Look, okay, as I said, I'm not going to state the obvious. I'm going to state where other people aren't necessarily looking, okay? Why is the volatility of VIX only down 5%? I'm going to tell you exactly why, because it means, again, professional world is not necessarily giving up their hedges. Does that mean, and I know people are thinking, they're like, oh, this guy's always bearish, okay? Sometimes, sometimes. But in this case, okay, it's just basically like, don't put down the mouse just yet, because things could still get very, very crazy. And that's exactly why I wanted to start with it on this evening's video here, is that it just simply says there's a lot of activity in the VIX options. And yes, the VIX numerically is down, but the VIX is it's an equation, if you will. And yeah, you're seeing volatility kind of get crushed. And the VX futures, the volatility futures, they have really flattened out. In fact, I'm actually going to display this. I'm going to freeze the screen and I'm going to display it. The vol future, you really don't want to look anymore. Don't look at the active contract, which is April, because it's only got 7 days left. But take a look, because what you're actually seeing is we're back in very normalized volatility, but it's still rather kind of flat, which should impart upon you, and I'm going to impart this upon you. Yes, we actually rallied back up substantially, but the volatility hasn't fully abated, okay, by any stretch of the imagination. And it's probably one of the it's the key, if you will, to this marketplace. And that absolutely got me to fade the marketplace in a couple of places, specifically inside of the XLF. I looked at the financials. I put on a bearish position in here today. And I'm talking a little bit about it because, we hit the upper edge of the expected move last week. We cracked the expected move this week. You've got earnings kicking off next week. But if the market as a whole is going to fade from this level, fade basically means sell off. And if we actually take a look at the S&Ps, if the market's actually going to fade back at all, I think the financials get killed. But I'm not here to tell you, okay, what the geopolitical risks really look like. I mean, I listened today. There's a ceasefire, maybe. Look, I'm not going to try to forecast any geopolitical risk. I'm just going to read, okay, what the marketplace is actually telling us. And right now, oil, I'm surprised actually with some of the news that's out today, because it does feel like if there is a ceasefire, it's very fragile. But I'm really surprised. Like, part of me is looking at oil going like, wow, I would have thought oil would have rebounded probably to like $100, but the day is still young. And as we actually go into the evening and the futures reopen, you may actually see oil retrace back up to 100, which is still a very, very tentative area. So again, hold that thought. Now, Let's move back to more of the obvious. Okay, more of the obvious is like, okay, the S&P's exploded back to the upside. Now, did they explode? Absolutely not. What you actually have here is we went from unchanged on the week right to the upper edge of the expected move. So when people are looking at this move and they're thinking this is an unprecedented move, yeah, it's an unprecedented move to exactly what we expected on the week. I mean, like almost down to the point. For those of you that have absolutely no idea what I'm referencing in here, this is the weekly expected move. And the weekly expected move, okay, this week, I believe we're expecting right around $167 move. That's supposed to be $167 move, higher or lower. In this case, okay, we're just outside of that. So, you know, say what you will about the marketplace, and it's an unprecedented. There's nothing unprecedented about it. We're right where we should be. I mean, I can point this same kind of price action out. Okay, I mean, look how many weeks where, you know, we're like, oh, it's Wednesday, we're at the upper edge of the expected move. Look, it's Wednesday, we're at the upper edge of an expected move. Just because these weeks didn't have as much volatility, right? Oh, look, we're at the lower edge of the expected move on a Wednesday, and these are heavy volatility weeks. I'm just pointing out this, okay? Yeah, it's a big move to the upside. Okay, but nothing wild has happened yet. And, you know, if we continue to the upside and hit 6,900 or 6,950, you got me. At that point, it's, you know, 2 standard deviation move. But right now, and it's so ironic because right now we're sitting literally at 167. Okay, as the bell goes off, you're at your expected move. So in the days to come, again, you're going to sit here and you're going to talk about like ceasefire, no ceasefire, whatever. Okay, in the days to come, you've got to see, again, you've got to see VVIX drop. You've got to see the volatility is completely normalized. And a VIX of 21 is still a pretty serious area. Okay, even though, again, you're like, but it's come down a lot. Yeah, we don't trust volatility at this point is what we're saying. I brought up a 15-year chart specifically in the VIX because I was just showing you this is still a pretty intense area, a 21 vol. Okay, clearly we've been substantially higher than that, but again, we haven't completely subsided. The risks, okay, have not completely subsided. You know, it's easy to sit here and say like, oh, this marketplace is just going to sell right back off. I don't think it's going to happen that easily. Okay, but there were issues again before any of the geopolitical risk surfaced. And some of those issues, well, here, take a quick glance. Look at Tesla, for example. Okay, Tesla, some fairly large sell-side activity. There's no other way to put it. In fact, Tesla's almost cracking through some of the lows and did it on absolutely huge volume today. That was one of the standouts. The underperformers in here, okay, really stood out to me today. Microsoft, which had a bounce earlier this morning, okay, couldn't carry its own weight throughout the course of the trading session. Really, this one also kind of faded considerably. I mean, Microsoft's a huge bounce and actually faded back. In fact, when I put it up into expected moves, we hit the upper edge of the expected move and went back to unchanged. Meanwhile, in Tesla, it's at the lower edge of its expected move. Okay, again, basically closing to lows right now. I also wanted to bring up Apple. Okay, Apple throughout the course of the day. After, again, a really rough start to the week, okay, it bounced, but it's well underperforming, if you will, the both the S&Ps and the NASDAQ over here. Again, I got more questions than answers on a couple of these, which, as I said, many of you are thinking, that's it, we're bullish. Remember, okay, before the geopolitical risk, the markets were already in trouble. And to get even more specific, it was technology that just, you know, stocks like NVIDIA might be up 2% today, but here's another one that kind of underperformed the S&Ps and has been kind of stuck in the mud for months. In fact, at this point, you've got to open up a 1-year chart to even look at the last time NVIDIA broke out to anywhere. All right, so, okay, what were some of the leaders in the marketplace today? Oh, look, okay, it's pretty obvious. Google, right? This thing is right back and jumping at or near, again, at or near some of its most recent highs. Again, nice bid under this, okay? So those of you that are looking at tech, All right, your strength's coming out of Google, some of the weakness coming out of Tesla, and everything else is pretty much stuck in the middle with you. Also, Broadcom, huge bid to the upside. This is partially news related, but again, I'm really focused right now on tech in the next couple of days, because when you start to look at it, and actually going to bring up Broadcom here because this was trading off of news yesterday. This is a full-fledged 2 standard deviation move right now inside of Broadcom. I'm really going to be focusing on these stocks in the next couple of days, not necessarily trading them that heavily, but the focus is here simply because, as I said, their underperformance, was in question before the geopolitical risk broke out. And then, I look down at VVIX and I'm like, well, maybe the volatilities are not dropping, because we see issues in Tesla, because we see issues in Microsoft. Say what you will, you can buy NVIDIA, Meta actually flies 6.5% to the upside, but without Tesla, Microsoft, and possibly Apple, you've got problems in this marketplace. All right, with that summation over here, volatility does not subside, What are we looking at into the remainder of this week? Well, we're already at the upper edge of the expected move inside of the SPX. We, completed that $167 move. What are we looking at for the next 2 days? About $84 of movement, which is still considerable. And I'm just going to throw this out here, 84 bucks, left basically in terms of anticipation of movement. I think we're going to see considerably more than that, right? Some of the geopolitical risks may or may not be there. But as I said to you, like tech, this thing is to me, it's just taking center stage. In terms of a rally, this is like disconnected, broken feeling. Even when you look at the advanced decline line, you're like, oh, it's pegged. There's nothing, to look at in here now. Sectors winning, sectors not winning. If you actually look down, the list of some of the usual suspects in here, I was actually surprised to see even stuff like consumer staple stocks like Walmart even had a bid under them. We're going to get some big dislocations in the next couple of days. That means a lot of sector rotations, a lot of like cyclicality in nature. And again, it's not necessarily a good thing. And I think that's one of the reasons the volatility remains a bit elevated. So look, at this point, the bulls are back, but this may not be for long. Keep your eye on the ball. Of course, everybody's going to point to geopolitical risk if the markets do sell back off. But I warn you, there's issues. There's still issues in tech, even in the midst of this rally. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here at TheoTrade. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.